welcome back to the Curious Kid podcast. When you look around and see all this stuff around you, it's interesting to think of how those things got there. All the stuff around us must have gotten there somehow. Take, for instance, the device you're using to listen to this podcast. Maybe you're using a phone, a tablet, a computer, or maybe even something else. Whatever device you're using, it was made by someone or by a group of people before it ended up with you. It could have been made in a factory, maybe one not far from where you live. But perhaps it was made in a different country, or on the other side of the world. Everything around us has an origin story. Whether it's the device you're listening with, the clothes you're wearing, or the house or car you're in right now, everything around us has an interesting story around it. Now, thinking bigger, have you ever wondered how the universe came to be? Well, there is one popular theory for the creation of the universe, and we're going to learn more about it this week.
Quadruple mailbag!
Quadruple mailbag! Dear Jacob and Olivia, we are Leo and Shan from Singapore. We love your podcast and would like to know if you could help us answer this. What was before the Big Bang? Looking forward to hearing from you. All the best, Leo and Shan. Hi Jacob and Olivia, I just wanted to let you know that my 7-year-old brother Arjun and myself, I'm 9, love your podcast. Our family loves to listen to it while on our long road trips. We listen to multiple episodes and love how you cover these different topics. We would love to get curious about snow cones, the organs of the body, and the Big Bang Theory. Thanks, Meera and Arjun from India. Dear Olivia and Jacob, my name is Rohan, almost 6, and I live in Singapore with my little brother and best friend Kayan, 4 years old, and my mum and dad. We love listening to and learning lots from your podcast when we're in the car on the way to and from school. My favorite episodes are the one about dinosaurs and the one about planets. We would really like it if you could get curious about friction, camouflage, the Big Bang, or Formula 1 for us. Please, pretty please, with a cherry on top. Keep up the 5-star work. Rohan and Kayan. Hi, we are Ethan, 9, Ezra, 7, and Rachel, 5, from Hollywood, Florida, and have been listening to your podcast for years. Our favorite episodes are football, basketball, and Pangea. We would like to learn more about stuffed animals and the Big Bang. Thank you, Ethan, Ezra, and Rachel.
That was amazing! We don't get lots of mail from Singapore, so it's incredible that we have multiple listeners in Singapore that want to know about the Big Bang. In fact, it's incredible that we have multiple listeners in Singapore, period. Whether you're curious from India, Singapore, the United States, or anywhere else, thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this learning journey with us. We are thrilled to get curious about the Big Bang for Leo, Shan, Meera, Arjun, Rohan, Kayan, Ethan, Ezra, and Rachel.
Let's start the learning with a bang by hearing the question of the week.
When the Big Bang Theory was first suggested about 100 years ago, it was given a different name by the person who suggested it. The question of the week is, what was the original name for the Big Bang?
So, while you're thinking, let's take our time machines back through history and go further back than we ever have before. That's right, we're going back further than Pangea and further than the dinosaurs. We're going back to the beginning of everything.
We're talking about the Big Bang. It wasn't a fireworks display or an explosion from some sci-fi movie. It was the beginning of space, time, and everything in between. So buckle up because this is going to be an epic journey.
Scientists believe that about 13.8 billion years ago, give or take a few 100 million years, the entire universe was squeezed into a tiny, super hot, super dense point. Then boom, it started expanding super fast, creating all the space, matter, and energy we have today.
So basically, everything around us, from the stars to Earth itself, exists because of this event that happened billions of years ago?
Exactly. Despite the name, the Big Bang wasn't really an explosion like a bomb going off. It was more like a balloon inflating really, really fast.
But wait, if the universe started with the Big Bang, what was before that?
Aha! That's one of the biggest mysteries in science. Some scientists think there was nothing. No time, no space, just nothing.
Others think that there might have been a different universe before ours, or maybe the universe that has always been expanding and collapsing over and over again.
We don't know for sure how the universe began, but the Big Bang Theory is the most popular theory out there. Scientists are still trying to figure it out. But hey, that's what science is all about. Asking questions and looking for answers.
So, if no one was around to see the Big Bang, how do scientists know that it really happened?
Great question. Scientists have found some big clues. One is something called the Cosmic Microwave Background, or CMB for short. It's basically the afterglow of the Big Bang, a faint light that fills the universe.
Another clue is that the universe is still expanding. When we look at galaxies far, far away, we can see that they're moving away from us, which means everything must have started from a single point.
Another interesting question is what happened after the Big Bang. Like, were the planets and stars right after the Big Bang?
It turns out that none of that stuff existed right after the Big Bang. Right after the Big Bang, the universe was just a super hot soup of tiny particles. No stars, no planets, just energy and chaos.
Over millions and billions of years, those tiny particles started coming together to form atoms, then stars, then galaxies. Eventually, planets like Earth formed, and billions of years later, here we are.
It wasn't until 380,000 years after the Big Bang that the universe would finally be cool enough for atoms to form.
About 100 million years after the Big Bang, the first stars formed, lighting up the dark universe.
It would take 1 billion years for galaxies to start forming, and 9 billion years for the sun and our solar system to form. So essentially, everything in your body, from your bones to your brain, was once inside a star. I'm pretty much a walking star.
Technically, yes. But let's not let that get to your head, superstar.
I wonder what things would be like if this Big Bang never happened. Would that mean no universe?
It would. None of this stuff would be here. It's a bit weird to think about.
Also, it makes us super lucky to be here. The universe is an incredible place, and we're just a tiny part of its huge story.
We are certainly lucky to be here, and we're also lucky that Noah is here to share some factoids with us. Here with 5 unbelievable facts you need to know about the Big Bang is Noah. Take it away, Noah.
Fact number 1. When Albert Einstein heard the Big Bang Theory, he didn't believe it at first. He believed the universe was static, meaning that galaxies were not moving apart. That means he also believed that they couldn't have been closer together in the past. Eventually, more evidence for an expanding universe was presented, and Albert Einstein became a big believer of the Big Bang Theory. He even called his original opinion of the Big Bang Theory the greatest blunder of his life. Fact number 2. The Big Bang was completely silent. Since space didn't have any air back then, there was no sound. Fact number 3. Some scientists think that our universe might be one of many universes. This theory is called the multiverse theory. According to the multiverse theory, there might be many, or maybe even an infinite number of other universes, and the other ones might be totally different from our own. Fact number 4. The early universe that existed after the Big Bang was hotter than 1 billion suns combined. Fact number 5. After that last fact, this one might not shock you. If you could time travel to 1 second after the Big Bang, you would be scorched instantly by heat and pressure.
Whoa, Noah, those were some seriously unbelievable facts. Even though so many experts believe in the Big Bang Theory, the first person to propose the theory did so only 98 years ago. When he proposed it, it took quite a while for other people to agree with him. He also had a different name for the theory. Olivia, what was the original name given to the theory by its inventor, Belgian physicist Georges Lemaitre?
He called it the hypothesis of the primeval atom. That is actually a great name for it. He called it that because it was a theory that the universe began with the explosion of an atom, which is the smallest part of a thing that can't be broken down any further. He called that atom primeval because of the word primeval refers to the earliest history of the world. I actually like that name a whole lot more than the Big Bang Theory, even though Big Bang Theory is a catchier name.
The irony about the Big Bang Theory is that people didn't really start to buy into the theory until shortly before its inventor passed away. Georges Lemaitre passed away in 1966, and just before he did, something called cosmic microwave background radiation was discovered.
That sounds like a groovy name, but it really went a long way in proving that the Big Bang Theory is a fact. In 1964, scientists accidentally discovered a faint glow coming from all directions in space. The glow, called the cosmic microwave radiation, is actually leftover heat from the Big Bang.
Another big argument in favor of the Big Bang is the amount of hydrogen and helium in the universe. Scientists predicted that if the Big Bang happened, the universe should be about 75% hydrogen and 25% helium. It turns out, when they measured, that's exactly what they found.
Even though most experts agree that the Big Bang Theory accurately explains the beginning of the universe, not everyone agrees with the theory. One of the biggest arguments against the Big Bang Theory is that it's hard to believe based on our current understanding of physics. The concept that the universe started from a single point that had infinite temperature and density is kind of hard to believe, even though there aren't any other explanations that have been suggested that have been nearly as popular. What do you think? Do you think the Big Bang Theory is how the universe really started? Send us an email to CuriousKidPodcast@gmail.com to let us know what you think.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast, number 305, on the Big Bang.
Great job, Olivia. And great job, Leo, Shan, Meera, Arjun, Rohan, Kayan, Ethan, Ezra, and Rachel for giving us an episode topic suggestion that allowed us to travel way, way, way back in our time machines, further back than we've ever traveled before in the 300 plus episodes of the podcast. Before we say goodbye, we have some amazing people to thank.
A big thanks to our newest Patreon supporter, Sophia R. There has never been a better time to be a Patreon supporter. For just $1 a month, our supporters get access to regular messages from me and Noah so they can get to know us better. A thank you during an episode of the podcast, early access to ad-free episodes of the podcast before anyone else gets to hear them, and an exclusive extra episode monthly on an amazing event from the history of sports. That's a ton of goodies for just $1 a month. To find out more about supporting the podcast on Patreon, you can find the link in our episode notes, or you can search for Curious Kid Podcast on www.patreon.com. That's Patreon. We also want to thank Bradley for leaving us a 5-star review.
It says, "My name is Bradley. I'm 11 years old, and me and my mom and my dad love your podcast. My sister and brother get mad when I listen to your podcast. I'm on spring break, and I've been listening to your podcast for at least 3 hours of the first day of spring break, and I love your episode on megalodons. Your podcast is the best. I have been listening to it for like 4 years.
Dude, thanks for the review, and sorry that your brother and sister get mad when you listen to us. It really means a lot that you took a few minutes to leave a really nice review.
Join us next week when we will get curious about escalators for listeners in Ontario, Canada. As always, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.